Hi guys, I hope you're all doing really well. I wanted to sit down today and record a very honest, open video about some things that have been really playing on my mind recently and really bothering me, in hopes to kind of just shed some light as to why certain things have happened, why certain things have changed with me, and I just kind of wanted to put a few rumours to bed as well. So everything you hear here today is my honest opinion about it. It's the true talk and it is what actually happened. So a lot of you guys have been wondering why I took the decision recently to not be a WW ambassador anymore. It was for a combination of reasons, not just my own. They had their reasons as well, but to be honest with you, it was something that's been on my mind for the last 6 months, if I'm honest. I just didn't feel like it was right for me anymore, and there were a few reasons for that that I'll go into today, but not too much. Like, I'm not going to get too specific about things, but I am going to give you guys an overview as to why I am no longer a WW member. That does not mean that I don't think that the plan was fantastic for me. It worked really well. For me, the issues came surrounding maintenance and surrounding other factors in relation to my relationship with WW as a body, as opposed to the actual plan itself. So I wanted just to sit down today, kind of put some rumours to bed, because I have had a lot of questions as to why you're not following the plan, why you're not tracking anymore. A lot of you guys know that I'm not tracking because I'm on maintenance, but I do get asked, like, why are you not tracking for us guys anymore as much? And I'm definitely not doing that, and the reason is I don't have the app anymore. I do not have the app anymore, even though I'm a gold member and technically I could get it for free because I've kept the weight off for that amount of time. I just want to step away from that part of my life. I really do. That doesn't mean, again, to say that if you're following WW, I think it's wrong. It was a fantastic plan for me. It worked really well. And I'm still happy to share hints and tips that worked well for me, and I still will give you guys, if I know the point value in my mind, or if I know an alternative, I will share it. I am not anti-WW. I really loved a lot of the people I met through there, and I loved my journey. I think it was so beneficial for me, but I've just finished with that part of my life now. Like, I wanted to step away from it. I didn't want to have my journey be the focus of anything really anymore, because I'm on maintenance. I've kept the weight off for nearly 3 years now. You know, I'm not actually pointing anything, and I haven't been for a really long time. Everything that I do is my own. The recipes that I use are my own. I mean, I never overly did a lot of recipes from the WW app anyway. I did a few, especially at the beginning, but it was never what my channel was supposed to be about. And over time, I just felt like it was just getting too weight focused, too numbers focused, and it took me to a really dark place. I'm not gonna lie. I was feeling unwell for quite a long time. I lost a lot of weight, more than I intended to. I'm still quite small, even now I could probably afford to put half a stone on, even a stone. But I've definitely found a mental, happier and more balanced place. I felt like, in order for me to be healthier in my mind, me tracking for other people and constantly focusing on numbers was conducive to my efforts for myself, and I just didn't want that pressure anymore. I don't want to have my app. I don't want to be tracking anything. I just want to focus on myself and being happy and healthy. I don't want to focus on numbers. I don't want to focus on swapping some foods for others. I want everything in moderation. You guys know on my journey I was a real advocate for everything with moderation. I never tracked olive oil. I never tracked mayo or condiments, and the reason I did that was because I didn't want to make myself reluctant to eat them, because your body needs them. They're good fats, and sometimes you know, having a bit of what you fancy is completely fine, and I know WW does allow for that, and it's a fantastic plan, but for me it was just getting a bit too much. It was just taking up a lot of my focus, a lot of my time, and throughout the whole few years that I was registered with WW, you know, I don't get any payment from them. You know, the amount of subscriptions I've sent their way, and I know it because I get an email every time one of you guys signs up through my code, which I'm actually going to remove out of my description box. I get an email, and over the years I cannot tell you how many thousands of people and thousands of pounds I've made for that brand, and I have never received a penny apart from a payment to do a podcast, which is fine. They never promised me any money, but it was very one way in that sense. Like, I felt like I was working a lot, endorsing them to a massive demographic and not really reaping any benefits for myself. And I just felt like I didn't need to do that anymore, especially when I wasn't actually using the plan myself. It felt a bit hypocritical, and I just wanted to have done with it and stop. I've actually started my own little venture on the side, which is a conflict of interest for them. It's absolutely fine. So to be honest, they were wanting me to step down as an ambassador themselves anyway, but it was something I was thinking of months and months ago. In fact, Andrew said it to me months ago. He said, Natasha, you just need to cut ties now. You don't need it anymore. And I don't want to alienate my audience. I don't want you guys that are on WW not to want to be here anymore, because the recipes are relevant, and when I do know something, I will let you guys know. But I just didn't want it to be the focus of my channel. I just didn't want the pressure. And I think that when I'm tracking for other people, it's pressure on me. And also, I'm trying to stay the same way, if not put a little bit on. It's not good for me to be tracking foods, because I'm still, you know, I'm still learning, and I'm still not 100% when it comes to making the right decisions all the time. And I don't want to look at an app and think, oh, I'm not going to eat that. I don't want to discourage myself from eating food or any foods, especially when I'm not on a diet. I really hope that that makes sense to some of you guys. I don't want you to think that, you know, we partied on bad terms. It is not the case. I wish everybody that I met well. I mean, what I will say is it can be a very, very toxic environment. I did experience some toxicity on the app. The ambassadors that I met were all lovely for the most part, and very supportive of one another, especially one or two I got on really, really well with. But it is very, very target driven there. It's very, very look at me, and I just didn't feel comfortable being part of it anymore, if I'm completely honest. And I did it because I wanted to give you guys what I felt you wanted to see. And sometimes you just have to step back and say, you know what, it's not me anymore, it's not part of my life anymore. And I'm hoping that that's okay. Like I've said, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. If I know a point value for something, I will say. If I know anything that I think might be useful for someone following, of course I'll share that. But I'm not going to live my life based around it for others, for the reasons that I've explained. And again, it can be quite a toxic environment. I've had many a woman in their 50s and above, or even less than that, coming down on me really hard for things that I think, would you speak to your daughter like that? Would you speak to anybody else like that? Just because I'm online, it doesn't give anyone the right to have an opinion or express that opinion. Of course, have an opinion, but you don't have to express it so nastily. And I used to think, like, what are these women teaching to their daughters? Because a lot of it was women. I never got anything from the male viewers that followed me. But it was just very, very toxic. And a lot of it was jealousy. A lot of it was the fact that my journey had gone a certain way that other people's hadn't. And I just wanted to step away from it all. I didn't need it anymore. I wish it all well. I thought my plan went fantastically well. I do think the plan works. I think it's great. And anyone who's following it, I think that if you do it properly to an extent, and you're happy, then you should absolutely do it. It's great. I would never ever look back. I would do it again. Do you know what? Even if I wanted to lose weight again, I would, and you know, I'd take the habits that I'd learned. I wouldn't get the app again, but I would take the habits that I've learned and put them into effect. When you've been doing it for so long, like I have, you know, 3 or 4 years altogether, you get to know things. You don't actually need it anymore. I mean, I've not touched that app apart from you guys for, I would say, the best part of 2 years. I really haven't. I don't even track my weight anymore or anything like that. I go on the social side just to promote my channel, which again, people had issues with. And it's like, you know, you're happy for me to come to other things and endorse you practically for free, but endorsing myself is not okay. It was weird. It was really weird. But anyway, I wanted to step away from it all. I hope that gives you a brief explanation as to what is going on, why I am not a WW ambassador anymore, why I've chosen to part ways and step down. You know, they had their reasons as well, which is perfectly fine. I'm not saying it was, you know, I left them completely. It was a mutual conversation of, you're doing this, it's a conflict of interest, do you agree? And I said, absolutely, I agree wholeheartedly. And it was something that I wanted to do for a long time, but I just didn't want to affect you guys. I just didn't want to not be able to give you that information. But the more that time went on, I realized that it wasn't any good for me. It wasn't any good for my mental health, and I have to put that first. And for the first time in a really long time, I feel better. It's really, really strange. It was like a pressure had been lifted. A pressure had just gone. I didn't have to worry about it anymore, and I'm really hoping that that kind of answers some of your questions and you're okay with that. I'm not going to talk about my new venture too much, and the reason for that is I'm fully booked, so I can't take on anyone else anyway, even if I wanted to right now, because I'm just way too busy. But I'm very, very excited about it. Basically, I'm helping people along with their journey. I'm having little one-on-ones with people, and it is going so well. I have 5 to 6 clients at the moment, and it's just the dream. It really, really is. But yeah, that is a brief explanation as to why I'm no longer a WW ambassador or endorsing them or following the plan or even have the app. So I hope that that makes some kind of sense. And I hope you guys decide to stay. I hope you hear from me and not the numbers. I really hope. But I understand if you feel that, you know, you were only watching me to provide point values. I get that, absolutely fine. But I hope you guys, or as many of you as possible, can stay. So anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go because I wasn't planning on filming this video today. I'm actually vlogging today as well. I just wanted to address it because I've had so many questions on Instagram since I briefly mentioned that I was no longer, and people have noticed that I've taken it out of the description box on my bio, on my profile, on Instagram, and I've had a lot of questions as to why, what's happened. There's no real tea, it's just I needed to go. I needed to go for my mental health, my physical health. I needed to part ways for a lot of reasons that I've mentioned. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.